I'm Susan Agger, and I am the coordinator of the Cambridge Public Schools Maynard Ecology Center, and I'm a licensed in Massachusetts science teacher, 5th through 8th grade.
All right.
The Ecology Center is a Cambridge Public Schools classroom that is not located in one of our schools, and it is supports science education in Cambridge for grades, I would say 1st through 8th at the moment, and it is it's located at Fresh Pond, which is our freshwater source, and is a large reservation that's available. It's public land that we can go out and do science field work on. So we host all 12 of the K-8 schools or K-5 schools now, sorry, and 5 of the upper schools. Okay, I believe 1971, sort of an unusual story because I think a past superintendent of Cambridge felt very strongly that Cambridge students should have access to public land. It's supposed to go on in perpetuity, so there's always supposed to be a place here in the future for Cambridge students to come to.
Okay.
I like to think, so we see kids, I think I usually see about 2,300 kids a year here, mostly in the fall and spring. But I also think that we use other sites in Cambridge. So we have the Maynard Ecology Center, but I also coordinate field studies in other places in the community, like there's an engineered wetland over at Alewife that we use with 5th graders who are learning about the water cycle and watersheds. We use the Charles River for 3rd grade students studying the Charles River. There's just lots of different places, Magazine Beach, North Point Park. We'll connect, I know people at DPW and the water department, so very often we'll pull in community resources to support our science learning in class. Favorite lesson is a 4th grade lesson, and I've just been hosting all the 4th graders in Cambridge here because we go out there learning earth science, earth processes like weathering, erosion, and deposition, and how that's shaped the land. So we use the reservation to go out and look how, when it rains, there's erosion of paths, there's root wedging on the sidewalks. So we look for evidence, and then we come in, and I've got models all around the room. They're called river tables, and we use sand and rocks and gravel and clay, and we run water so that the kids build a really tiny little river, and then changing variables like slope and the speed of the water, the amount of water, so they only change one variable at a time. And we run little experiments that they plan themselves. I step away, and it's like just active learning that's really engaging. And I think because they haven't really studied variables yet in math even. They haven't named them as variables. They're sort of right on the edge of doing that in 4th grade. So when they use stream tables, I think they really understand variables organically. And so I love seeing the aha moment, and that's why I like it so much. I and most educators, I think, use a backward design process. So whenever we're planning on what we're going to do, we start pretty much at the end, and we think about the state science standards that we want to cover. So there's sort of standard recommendations about what kids should know in certain grades with regard to science, because their understanding builds in complexity going through the grades, certain concept. So we always think of some kind of assessment of that knowledge, and that could be informal or formative. And then the last thing that we decide is what the activity will be to, achieve that goal. So that's sort of how we go about deciding what we're going to do. So it's not just hands-on activities, it's an activity with purpose for learning, which doesn't mean it's not joyful or fun, but it's fun and joyful with purpose, because there's not a lot of time for kids to do science.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip with a friend? No way! Cruising on down
Main Street. You really